Hey, what's up, RT Nation? I am here at the AARC House of Delegates meeting here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I am here with Dustin Goodman. Dustin is he is the Wisconsin Society for Respiratory Care's Vice President.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, Dustin, thank you so much for joining me and taking some time to talk with me today. And Dustin, I just wanted to kind of pick your brain a little bit. And I know that for a lot of people, when they think about becoming a member of their state society, let alone in a leadership role, they kind of think that they need to be a little bit more established in their career. And I think that from what I understand, you started at a much younger position in your career, and I want to kind of pick your brain and kind of hear, what kind of led you to making that decision.
So for me, it was very something that I always had interest in. So I was a student representative for my state. We divide our state into districts. I was a district rep student, and so we kind of had some mentors that kind of not pushed me into it, but had always kind of kept me involved and kind of knew in the back of my head. So I took the first year after graduation to kind of work on me, being a therapist, learning, figuring all that kind of stuff out. And then after that, I had kind of said, I want to get involved with our conference. We do a bi-state conference with Minnesota, so it was kind of interesting to kind of learn people and how things work. And I just kind of jumped in one day with some help from one of my mentors that just said, hey, I think you'd be good in this role and try it. And I was 23. I jumped right into the vice president role. My term is actually up here in April, and I plan to rerun. But it's really opened my eyes.
Wow.
It has shown me the things like licensure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You apply for it, you have to get a license to practice, but you don't know how easily it can be taken away by somebody who doesn't know what we do.
Absolutely.
Myself, along with our entire legislative team, spends lots of time, we have calls with our lobbyists, and we've been down and worked with the DSPS on different things, and we were lucky enough to save our license, but
yeah.
As a staff therapist, I never would have thought that was something of importance until it was faced with us.
Yeah.
And my big thing is kind of being transparency. Up until about 5 years ago, the board of directors, in my opinion, no matter what kind of state you were in, was always kind of the good old boys club.
Sure. Yeah.
And in Wisconsin, we're trying to get away from that. We have very transparency. We want our membership to know what's going on, be involved, to be knowledgeable, so that when they do go back to their departments, they have this knowledge base.
Okay.
And so we implemented a new social media, and we've done some different things. And for me, it's kind of helping bring my quote unquote youth to the board, and help bring the board to the 2019, 2018. And it's just it kind of inspires me to try and help inspire others. I think coming in with a younger mindset is helpful. But from my standpoint, coming in, you also have to remember that there's multiple generations to cover.
Absolutely.
And so how I like to see things may be different than a baby boomer, may be different than a Gen X,
Yeah.
And we all learn differently. We like to get information
Absolutely.
differently. And so it kind of helps you grow, not as a therapist, but as a practitioner. You get to see the new and upcoming things. You get to come to conferences like this, or to forums. You get to network with individuals. I mean, some of my closest friends now are from other places in the States.
That's
because
awesome.
You're here, you're networking, you're all working towards the same goal of trying to better our profession. We are a young profession.
Yes, absolutely.
70-ish, 70, 80 years versus, we're competing against professions like nursing that's been around for a couple hundred in some variation. And that's what we have to remember. We're young.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a lot of growth, a lot of potential, and we need people to help bring that forward. We're going to have a gap at some point where there is the current generation, those that have been around in the profession for a long time, or been in the AARC leadership for a long time, that at some point are going to step down, and there'll be this gap. And we need the young people with the fresh ideas and the fresh faces to try and help bring us forward.
Man, that's an awesome message, and you might not be able to tell this looking at Dustin's face, but he is all of the ripe old age of
25.
25. So in the past 2 years, Dustin has filled in for the role of vice president for his state society, and you touched on a couple of really, really cool things. One of those things, and you said the word pushed, right? You said that you got kind of pushed in, and when we think about mentorship, I think that when I think about it, when I look back at how I was mentored, it was really people that inspired me, but sometimes they kind of pushed me out of my comfort zone.
Yep.
That took me to where I am right now. And Dustin makes a great point. Just behind the camera right now in the ballroom is the House of Delegates meeting that's ongoing, and really pioneers of our industry and our profession are there doing some great work. But the reality of it is they're doing that great work for us, for where we're going to be in the next 5 to 10 years, and we need new voices. We need young voices, and the thing about it is there is nothing more to qualify you than just a desire to be a better clinician, a better profession, a better colleague, to want to mentor people and to want to make impact. And I think regardless of where anyone is in their career, I mean, when we graduate as students, we want to make impact, right? And how better to make impact than to be able to defend licensure like you did in Wisconsin. And they're doing an amazing job up there. It is an honor to be able to spend time with you, and I thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you. Yes.
All right, man.